Christine Persichetti. The Diocese of Brooklyn coming together to pray for peace. Dozens gathered at the Cathedral Basilica of St. James, asking God to stop the terror unfolding in the Holy Land. It's part of the Pope's plea that October 27th be a day of prayer and fasting worldwide. Currents News' Jessica Easthope has the story from downtown Brooklyn.
A sign of peace. One, Catholics pray, will help counteract an exchange of fire thousands of miles away. On Friday, Diocese of Brooklyn Bishop Robert Brennan stood in solidarity with the Holy Father, calling for an end to violence between Israel and Hamas, with a holy hour and mass at the Cathedral Basilica of St. James.
Prayer is about trying to conform ourselves to God's own will and God's own mind. So what we're looking to do is to change ourselves and then to change one another and change the world.
For parishioners like Maurice Lewis, prayer is power over evil, over violence, and over war among neighbors.
If I know prayers didn't work, I would not waste my time to be here. God is there for me all the time. He never failed. It never fails. So, and I strongly believe that the war will stop between Israel and the Gaza, so we all work together for peace.
This week, Israel has carried out several small-scale ground raids in Gaza and more than 250 airstrikes, backed by fighter jets and drones targeting Hamas sites. This recent clash amid a deeply political conflict has claimed thousands of innocent Israeli and Palestinian lives. Father Brian Patterson, the rector of St. James, says he wants people to leave Mass realizing it's not about choosing sides.
Taking sides and trying to enact revenge is not helpful. And we need to open ourselves up that God may release in us what is best in us, which of course is God.
Israel says these ground raids in Gaza are preparation for a full-blown invasion of Hamas-ruled territory in an effort to destroy the militant group's infrastructure. In downtown Brooklyn, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
On Thursday night, Brooklyn's prayers were for hope and healing as the diocese held its annual Mass for the victim survivors of clergy sex abuse. Here I am, Brooklyn Bishop Robert Brennan led the annual Mass of Hope and Healing at St. Bernard of Clairvaux Parish. The purpose of the liturgy is to help those who have suffered from clergy sexual abuse and lost trust in the Catholic Church. From the readings to the songs, the Mass was planned in part by victim survivors for victim survivors. And during his homily, Bishop Brennan apologized to those victim survivors for the trauma they endured.
The Church should be a place of hope and healing, and for some who are here tonight, that was not the case. Church should have been a place that was a safe haven, a safe place. And we're keenly aware that it would be a place for some people of tremendous horror. Should have been a place of refuge and consolation, and that was not found. We are terribly, sincerely, I mean this, sincerely sorry.
You can hear Bishop Brennan's full homily on our website, currentsny.tv. The Mass of Hope and Healing is just one way the Diocese of Brooklyn is trying to combat abuse and help victim survivors. Some other ways include creating the Office of Victim Assistance to help individuals who come forward with allegations of abuse. The office provides supportive initial counseling, therapy referrals, and pastoral resources for victim survivors. Every employee of the Brooklyn Diocese, including students, undergoes mandatory background checks and training designed to spot the signs of abuse and how to stop it. And of course, as we mentioned, the yearly Mass of Hope and Healing, where the faithful come together and pray. There's also a confidential diocesan line to report abuse. Reports are automatically sent to law enforcement, and there isn't any church involvement to ensure compliance. That number is 888-634-4499. Once again, the number is 888-634-4499. If you know anything, please give it a call. Now let's quickly take a look at some other important headlines happening around the world. An update on the Maine mass shooter. Police are still searching for the armed and dangerous suspect, Robert Card. Locals are sheltering in place for a second day. An NYPD tow truck driver has been charged after a 7-year-old boy was struck and killed while crossing the street with his mother in Brooklyn. The 54-year-old was charged with failure to yield to a pedestrian and failure to exercise due care. The first Rome meeting of the Synod is wrapping up. The participants will release a full report this weekend about their discussions, and delegates are once again saying there were no hostile divisions during the process. If any of those Synod participants from the U.S. need a ride back from the airport, there's one man they all know they can call. Most of Sal Ervolino's business is selling, leasing, and servicing vehicles for clergy and church institutions. And as Currents News' Katie Vasquez reports from Long Island, he's even helped the Pope with his ride.
Sal from Trinity.
Sal Ervolino says his car business is his higher calling.
I guess really fulfilling my ministry. Yeah, I get a lot of satisfaction helping people.
In part because some of his most famous clientele have a close connection to God.
I get goosebumps talking about the Cardinal. I have so much respect and admiration for him.
From New York Cardinal Timothy Dolan to any number of bishops across the country, Sal is there to get them a ride.
We're bonded forever. I don't just sell or lease a car and say, good luck and see you in 3 or 5 years. Every customer that I have has my cell number. And they can reach me, and they do, for anything that they need at different hours. Hello, may I help you?
But the call Sal will never forget is the one that came in 2015. When he was asked to take care of the Fiat that Pope Francis drove during his trip to New York City. The car would later be auctioned off for charity.
I personally drove the car with my hazard lights on, going like 20 miles an hour, because of the $300,000 that came out of the auction. It's a brand new design.
Most of Sal's work at his business, named Trinity Automotive after the Catholic high school he attended in Williamsburg, is selling, leasing, and servicing vehicles for clergy, religious orders, and church institutions. After 50 years in the car business, he estimates he has about 2,000 cars currently on the road. In Greenville, Long Island, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
Pretty cool. That is this Currents News update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.